Hey yo, LAZ, man, you always hear me shouting out the bro life through galleries when I'm on live. You heard? But if you need a professional photographer in the NYC area, if you want professional pictures taken in the New York City area, make sure you follow the bro life through galleries on Instagram. You heard?
The Cribs got views. The Jews, Dave Yerman, if they proved A vermin, they toupees turning. I be burning GP in that new GT, the Kufi freeze.
Hey yo, LAZ, holla at me if you want to collab on a song or you need some music promo. Send me an email at thegenpopllc@gmail.com.
And if I come out the store, I can tell the way they're moving, they're going to try to do something to me. So I'm like, you at that same store you've been telling me about? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, man. And I said, yo, I got my son in the car with me, but I'm hammered up. Like, I'm on my way. Right now, the stuff that's going on, it's like, you know, it's a lot of us killing each other and a lot of us doing each other dirty. And this is the stuff that's being promoted, you know, as far as music-wise, industry. You know, it's like a plot or a plan to just make sure that we keeping each other down and our foot on each other's neck. So I feel like this story is more important because it shows the importance of doing the opposite to doing people dirty. You know what I'm saying? But to tell this story, I was telling you before how I had a man that he was my people's, and he caught a bid up top, and while he was up there, he became blood. You know what I'm saying? And he brought it back to North Carolina. So what happened with him, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you know, he was basically doing crimes in North Carolina. So when he got hemmed up in New York, they put a warrant on him, a hold. And whenever he finished with New York, North Carolina wanted him. So when he came to North Carolina, I was already locked up. And when he came down there, like, me and this dude wound up becoming cool. You know what I'm saying? And he was about his business. You know what I'm saying? He just came off the island. He came down with 2 razors. And they already knew he had them shits. But he told them, y'all got to whip my ass, and I'm trying to cut anything that touched me to take these. So they basically let him rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, they knew he had them razors, but he would not get them shits up. But anyway, he when he came down there, me and him wound up becoming cool. And, you know, he told me his story and whatnot. But like I said, he became blood while he was up there. It's like 96, 97. He became blood when he was up there. So when he came down there, before he came, it really wasn't there. Even in the house that he came to where I was at, there was a bunch of young kids in it, like 18 to 25. And they was just on some regular wild, doing dumb shit in jail type shit. But when he came, he started scooping these niggas. He started, like, recruiting them. And a lot of them, like, went under his wing. And me and him was cool. I wound up plugging him with a shorty in from the streets. I wound up plugging him in with somebody and whatnot. So me and him really got locked in, and we used to talk and everything. But long story short, what wound up happening with him is he got shipped. But before he left, like, he was building with me, and he was like, yo, like, you need to, like, take this food, even if you're not going to use it, because he don't ask me a few times about it. Like, yo, you don't want to, you know, come under this? And I'm like, nah, you know, I'm not into that. So he was like, before he left, though, he was like, yo, I want to leave this with you, because I feel like somewhere in your life you're going to need to know this. So he left me with a few things. But before that even happened, like, I was having these crazy ass dreams, and in the dreams I was blood, and I was like running, had like a bunch of people under me, and I used to wake up from these dreams like, why the fuck do I keep having these dreams about being in something that I'm not interested in? So the only way I thought that, you know, I could explain that, or it was telling me, it was like the mentality I had wasn't on no division type time. It was more on a united and bringing people together. So I think the dream was trying to tell me, if you've done this, it wouldn't have been like, you have the potential to change the current of where this stuff is heading, because it don't have to be negative. It can be positive if it got the right person pushing positivity. So I felt like that's what it was trying to tell me, but I never, like I said, I never clung to the shit. So anyway, he wound up going up top. But before he left, you know, he spoke to me, and it was a dude that came in the house that was Crip. And at that time, you know what I'm saying, the Crips was already down there. They was like in pocket sets, and I knew a few of them from the streets, but I didn't know this dude that came in. He was Crip. I knew Crips and a few gangster disciples, but he was Crip. I didn't know him from the street. So when he came into the house, you know, the energy with him was already like, you know how it go. So they kind of let him live though, but a few people, they ran up out of there. But your boy was quiet. He didn't come in there on no loud shit. He didn't come in there on no extra shit, but he definitely didn't come in there like he wasn't who he was. So I think, like, you know, they kind of gave him a little pass for a minute, but Pud used to like say something about him like, yo, we kind of letting this nigga live, but I don't really feel like he should be in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he cool, he quiet, he ain't on no extra shit. But, you know, I feel funny about this nigga just staying here. That was my nigga name, Pud. He was like, I still feel kind of funny about this nigga just, you know, being here. Like, we should just make this nigga pack up. So I'm like, nah, you know, your boy quiet, he ain't fucking with nobody, leave him alone. But anyway, what wound up happening when he packed up, he called a few people to the cell. It was me and a few of my other dudes that was in there that I wound up getting cool with. One of them was named Chi-Chi. He was a nigga from up top. God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? Me and him became real cool, the Jamaican dude. So anyway, he called us all to the cell and was like, yo, I'm going up. They packing me up out of this and that. And he was like, yo, when I leave, man, I know we let this nigga live in here, but I want him ran out, like do something to him. And he was telling the dudes that was trying to get their stripes, he was like, that's the job I'm leaving to y'all. Chi-Chi was one of them. So he was like, that's the job I'm leaving to y'all. Y'all do that and y'all got y'all stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all definitely earned y'all way. So they was like, all right. But I still wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And I told the nigga that. So he was like, yo, well, if you ain't feeling it, just step aside and let them handle it. So anyway, he bounced and went up. He went up the road. So when he went up the road, these dudes was planning and plotting and putting the plan together for your boy. And he felt the energy. I know he felt the energy. You know what I'm saying? Because when you in that type of situation and you know how it is already, you can tell when moves shift in a house. So I just feel it set bad with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it still wasn't sitting good with me. So I went to them and I was like, yo, dead that. And they was like, nah, I said, we can't do that. You know, like, he told us, like, get this shit done and whatnot. And I said, man, dead that shit. I said, if he wanted that shit done, all of that time this nigga lived in this house, he could have done that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, sometimes in life, you got to make choices on your own. And I understand how y'all felt about this man. I know how y'all looked at him, because I feel that same way. And if it was any type of other situation where it needed to be done, I would be doing the same shit with y'all. I would be moving off of that. But this man ain't coming here and cause no issues. He don't do nothing but his fucking time. Like, dead that shit. So push came to shove, them niggas listened. You know what I'm saying? Like, they deaded the shit. They didn't do nothing to him. Even though, you know what I'm saying, like I said, he told them to do something before he left. And the dude, I don't know how, but he wound up finding out what was supposed to happen, and the fact that I deaded that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if somebody went back to him or whatever happened, because he lived in the house with us for the rest of that time. So it could have even been one of the niggas that supposed to done something to him that went back and told him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's supposed to happen, but, you know, he deaded that shit. Like, he definitely stepped up on your behalf. But like I said, I don't know how he found out, but he did find out, because on the street, I wound up bumping into this dude. And he was like, yo, man, it was good looking what you did in that house and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I know you wasn't coming under nothing, but you definitely stepped up and spoke up for me. And I heard about that. And I was like, yeah, I just didn't think that was right, or whatever. But it was nothing to me. I didn't even think nothing of it. But one day, I'm with my son, and we in the car, and we driving, we going somewhere, but my man hit me up. Now, at this time in North Carolina, this is the time I told you about when I was slinging and doing my thing. So my man, he was the same way, you know what I'm saying? He used to ride around, nice car, jewelry, and all of that. He used to always stop at this one damn store for some reason. Every time he went in and out of the store, he used to tell me how the energy was with the dudes, because he used to be a bunch of dudes standing out there. Now, I didn't know the niggas he was talking about, but he used to always tell me, like, they always looking at me, you know, checking me out and whatnot. And I'm like, why you keep going to that store? And he was like, because I'm not going to change nothing. Like, if they feel something, let it happen. And I kind of understood that because I was the same way. Like, I used to wear jewelry and all of that, whatnot, driving and whatnot. And I used to go to all different parts out there and jump out. I didn't care who was out there, who was in front of the store, who was wherever I went. And I heard it plenty of times coming back to me, like, yo, Sel, man, you was over at such and such and such a. And I was like, yeah, I went over there the other day. And they was like, yo, man, like, it keep coming back. Like, niggas is asking us, who is this dude that drives such and such and such? And we like, yo, that's our peoples. But, you know, it is what it is, because they knew how I move. Like, I'm always hammered up. And at the end of the day, if I hear that there's something going on with me, I'm going to be the one coming to check that out. So whenever they used to say that, they used to be like, yeah, they was asking about you. I don't wait. I drive right over to that part of town. Like, I load up and go over there. And I sit out there on their block. If it is what it is, like, I used to make a statement, like, if y'all got something to say, don't ask my peoples about me. Ask me. I'm right out here now. Ask me. So that used to kind of dead a whole lot of stuff, because, like, you know, people feel like if they wanted that energy, they going to follow up on that. But if you don't want that energy, then stop asking questions about me. And most of the time, people don't want that energy. They really, and like I said, you can kind of say, God, I was being looked out for. Like they say, God look out for babies and fools, because North Carolina is dangerous. Like, they about their business out there. So I just didn't care. Like, that's the mentality I had. I'm not going to let you ask or talk about me or have something to say without pulling up about that. So anyway, I just avoided a lot of situations, I guess, or I was lucky to get through a lot of stuff. But yeah, so anyway, I'm riding and I got my son in the car with me. My son is young at this time. So my man hit me up and he was like, yo, Sel, I'm at this store that I was telling you about. And I can tell they definitely scheming on me. And if I come out of the store, my shit is in the car. And if I come out the store, I can tell the way they're moving, they're going to try to do something to me. So I'm like, you at that same store you've been telling me about? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, man. And I said, yo, I got my son in the car with me, but I'm hammered up. Like, I'm on my way. And that was just a bad situation, because the way he talking, like, it was going to jump. And I didn't want my son in the mix of that, but I didn't have no time to go take him somewhere and still make it back to him to make sure he's safe. So I was like, I'm on my way. So I drove over there. And when I get to the store, I pull up and I pull a distance away from the store so I can have my son kind of safe off to the side. I pulled off to the side, but it ain't a whole lot of space you can park at out there unless you park at somebody's house or something. But that was walking distance to that store. So I kind of parked off all the way to the end of the store parking lot. And I got out the car. I told him, I said, don't move, don't do nothing. Just stay right here. I don't care what you hear, what you see going on. Just stay right here. So I get out the car and I go over there. Now, when I'm walking over there, it's like 15 dudes outside the store. And my man is still inside the store. I see his car parked outside because I told him, stay in the store. Don't come out there if you feel like shit gonna jump. So I see like 15 dudes outside, and they all looking at me because I'm the same way as him. I just jumped out of a nice car. I'm jewelried up and everything, and I'm going in the store. So they looking me up and down and whatnot. So I go in the store, and my man is in there, and then it's like about 6 or 7 other dudes in the store too. And they like moving around like they doing stuff. So I go to him, I'm like, what's up, you good? And he was like, yeah. I was just getting ready to snap some shit up and leave out of here. But I know them niggas, they knew what time it was because he stayed in that store for probably about 10 minutes that it took me to get there. He didn't leave that store. And I know they know he called me. So I guess they saying, we don't care. It's whatever. When y'all step outside the store, it's what it is. So in my mind, that's what I'm preparing for. His shit is in the car. I got mines on me. We don't got no time to go to the car. So that one hammer gonna have to be enough for this situation. So we get ready to leave out, and one of the dudes was like, yo, Sel. So I look over there, and I'm like, what's up? And it just happens to be the same dude that I saved in the jail. And he was like, oh shit. And me and this dude, and it's probably like a year after that situation, maybe a little longer. So he was like, yo, what's up? And me and him started talking and dapping up, and he was like, man, I ain't seen you in a minute. He was like, yo, that's your peoples? And I'm like, yeah, that's my people. So he was like, yo, let me holler at you. So he pulled me outside, and we go off to the side. And he talking to me, he was like, yo, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, your man was about to get it tonight. And he was like, he comes up here all the time. He flashing jewelry. He pulling out a lot of money, and this nigga's out here hungry. He was like, we was gonna give it to him tonight. That was the decision. And he was like, but we knew he called somebody. We didn't care about that neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was gonna be whatever. So this just so happened it's you that pulled up. And I was like, yeah, that's my peoples. And he was like, yo, like, you saved him. I swear to God, you saved him, because we was gonna do something to him. And I was like, nah, like, whenever you see him, give him a pass. He was like, nah, he got that because of you. Like, he can come over here anytime. He good. So that's kind of how that situation ended. When my man came out there, I introduced him to them. I was like, yeah, this my peoples, da-da-da-da-da. So they spoke and whatnot. And after that, he was good in that spot. But I told that story, like I said, because it's, that could have turned out bad. But it happened to be somebody I saved that wound up saving me and my peoples. Because like I said, I only had one hammer. I had my son in the car, and it was probably 20 of these dudes out there. That could have easily been bad. That could have went all the way left, and it wouldn't have been good. So the only thing that changed that, like I said, is because I done what I done when we was locked up. I didn't do that with the intent that one day this dude gonna help me. One day this dude gonna be able to do something for me. I didn't do that. I just felt like that situation was wrong. But that's like how karma works. Sometimes you save your own life by saving somebody else's life. I could have easily took that situation and said, I ain't got nothing to do with it. If y'all do them dirty, you do them dirty.
Your morals saved you and your man life, because that one gun wouldn't have held it down with them 15 niggas outside. You feel what I'm saying?
And the way they moved, they would have probably blazed first and robbed second. That's the way they move out there. Like, if you check any type of stats in that area right now, it's bad out there. And it's got worse than it was before, but at that time, it was bad the same. So I know the situation he was in when he told me, and when I went over there and I saw all of these dudes outside, I didn't know none of them that was outside. The only person I knew from that whole situation happened to be the one dude who I saved that night.
That's insane.
That's crazy, right? But look, this is why I said that, because like I said, with all of the stuff going on out here, dudes doing dirt to each other, and sometimes giving somebody a pass, you giving yourself a pass. I'm thinking in there when I'm locked up that I'm saving him. I never even looked at the fact that I was saving my life in the future, and maybe even my son's life, because my son would have either sat there and watched me get killed or jumped out the car and tried to run over there and he got harmed. So I didn't even think at that time that I was doing something that would in turn save my life. But this is how karma works, and this is why I said I wanted to tell this, because there's so much dirt going on where we're doing each other dirty. Sometimes you can take that upper hand you have and use it to lift somebody up and not to harm them. And you don't never know how that's going to turn out for you in the future, because it might just be a situation where your life is not just in danger, but your child or somebody else's. And that same situation that you used, that you could have used to do dirt, you used it the opposite way, and it saves your life later. Because that's definitely what happened with me. I have no doubt in my mind when I walked past them dudes that they was definitely about to do some dirt. So I knew what it was. I said, I'm definitely coming out this door and I'm getting into gunplay. There's not going to be no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, that shit, it just gave me like a lesson. And that's the lesson of this, like, that I wanted to say. Even with that situation, like, if you think about what happened with your boy, Pop Smoke, You remember what happened with him? How when he was younger, them dudes done him dirty.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, filmed it on camera, and then he wound up catching one of them dudes later and doing them dirty. And filmed the same thing. When that happened, when I saw that situation, this is no lie. A lot of people was like, you know what I'm saying? He got his get back or whatever. You know, he got his lick back and all this. You know how they are. So at that time, this is no lie. The first thought that hit my mind was he should have gave that dude a pass. He should have gave that dude what he would have hoped that they would have gave him at that young age where he wasn't prepared for what they had him in.
He was young. He was a baby when that happened. But it probably, if a nigga turned cold-hearted, it'd be from certain shit like that.
Facts. That shapes the person. That gives you the energy you move with later. But imagine if one of those dudes would have been like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Shorty young, he doing what he doing, but he gets a pass. That would have saved that dude later in that store, the one he wound up catching up with. He would have said the same thing, probably or probably not. But I always felt, right after that happened, I said he shouldn't have done that. Like, when the narrative was running around, like, yeah, he got what he deserved. You know, he done him dirty, he got it back. My words was, I swear, before he got killed, I was saying that. I said he shouldn't have done that. He should have gave that dude a pass. He should have done what he wanted done to him.
Yeah, and I wasn't feeling that. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that shit either. And it's a hard situation, bro. It's a hard situation because, you know, if I was him, you know, or, you know, and I'm not just talking about with him, but in any situation like that, I would want my revenge too, but it take a big man to give a nigga a pass. It take a bigger man to give a nigga a pass when a nigga
After
did you dirty. Yeah, when a nigga did you dirty. Because niggas have done me dirty, and I ain't give a nigga a pass when I caught up with him. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel bad about some shit later on in life. Like, damn, I shouldn't have punched that nigga in his face. Like, we OD'd on that nigga that day. You feel what I'm saying? Or whatever. You feel me? But for the most part, that shit is hard, man. It's hard because a lot of people was happy to see him get some revenge. But realistically, bro, even them dudes that he got into the situation with when he was young, they was kids.
Facts.
They was kids being misled at the time and led astray at the time. Somehow. And you could believe they had been victims of some type of violence at one point in time to make them violent.
Facts. That's the exact point that I'm making. Like, at some point, if somebody breaks that cycle and put a different narrative out there, that becomes the norm. You can hope. It ain't saying it's going to be, but I said that. I said if he would have broke that cycle right there and done something different, he would have gave these young dudes out here something to think about, because they gonna bump into people they call ops and enemies that look just like them, and at some point they're gonna be like, damn, the Pop Smoke thing might reflect on them. Like, yo, he gave a dude a pass that done him dirty. I could probably do the same thing. It's hard, like you said. It's not easy to take that road, but what we're dealing with is not easy. When we got each other killing each other, we get upset, we get pissed off, we get mad. When one of us get hurt by somebody that don't look like us, they get done dirty, but we're not mad or we're not upset, and we're not that same type of pissed off about the fact that we're doing each other dirty. The only way that's going to change is when people change that narrative. And I felt like Pop Smoke had the perfect platform and the perfect stage to do that. He could have filmed the fact that, yo, y'all done me dirty. And that shit hurt me. And I carried that all of these years. It kind of shaped me to who I am today. But today, I'm also a different person. So I could do you dirty right now, but I'm going to give you a pass. That would have been a platform and a stage that people would have been like, damn, that's different. Because I don't know if I would have done the same thing, but I like the fact that he done that. Right after that, he wound up getting killed. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's how karma works. And I felt like if he would have gave that dude a pass, he'd probably be still here today making music and whatnot. You can't say that, and you can't say it ain't the case. But sometimes showing people a different side makes people look at you a different way. And them dudes out there that probably had that intention for him, when that idea came up, they would have been like, nah, this the same dude that just gave dudes a pass that done him dirty. We need people like that around. You don't know what that narrative could have been amongst them, instead of saying, yeah, we found his location, let's go get him.
Yeah, or you know, one of them niggas OGs could have been like, nah, I like that shit he did when he gave that nigga a pass. Don't do nothing to that nigga. Don't go try to
get a pass.
Know what I mean? And you know, that shit is deep, bro. And Pop Smoke was young. He was young, bro. He was a young dude. You feel what I'm saying? And when you young, man, sadly, you don't really understand the consequences of a lot of things that you do. You feel me? And it's crazy because I know when I was that age, I had a reckless mouth. I had a motherfucking, you understand what I'm saying? I had a reckless temper. I was quick to pull a gun out on something. You feel what I'm saying? Like, nigga could have been got his head blown off with some of them the stupid shit I did when I was young. And I'm talking about after prison.
Like I said, just imagine if he would have done the opposite, what kind of surge could have been pushed behind that. Because it like you said, it ain't easy, but we're not living in easy times. We're living in times right now where it's detrimental that we wake the fuck up, that we start seeing like the cause and effects of what our actions are having, and the energy that we're pushing out there. Everything is spin and spin back. You know what I'm saying? And it takes somebody. It takes somebody that got a voice, that got a platform, that says, nah, let's try something different. And film that. Like, yo, y'all done me dirty. And that hurt me. And it shaped me. But today, I'm going to use this same energy to give you a pass. You would have seen people probably filming that, like catching up to their ops and saying, yo, today you get a pass. We got to change the narrative, man. Like, that joint hurt my heart when I see the stuff that's taking place and hearing about it, like stuff that's taking place in Chicago and all of these places. They don't even, it's not even thought in their head no more that this needs to stop, like it needs to change, and that we got to start realizing how important we are, and like how every drop of blood that we shed sinks into the earth and cries out from the earth. You know, with Cain and Abel, he was like, your brother blood cries out from the earth to me. And we're spilling each other's blood into the earth. And that shit is crying out. Like, it ain't people thinking how precious that life form is. Blood is the life form of our existence. And it's not people realizing how precious that is. It's easy for them to spill that. It's easy for them to harm that and not think how precious that is. So, like I said, the reason why I felt like this story was more important to tell is because I'm hoping that some of the people that hear this, that's dealing with ops, that's dealing with people that they have an opportunity to spin on or to do some harm to think like that. Like, you get a pass, and start letting that be the norm. Because one pass turned into two turned into four turned into 8, and that becomes the narrative. And that's an uphill battle at the end of the day, because, you know, a lot of this stuff that people are looking at, the pictures is painted so vivid and so real that it's hard for them to think, I'm gonna let this person slide, or I'm gonna let that go. It's hard for that. You know what I'm saying? You get looked at a certain way. You know, you get painted in a certain light if you ain't pushing the same stuff everybody else is pushing. But it ain't gonna be easy changing what we dealing with. It gotta start somewhere though. And I'm hoping it puts some thoughts in the people's head that's listening that say, I'm gonna try that. Because you never know when you saving your own life. Because I saved my own life saving somebody else's life. And I saved my child's life. We gotta do something.
Hey yo, LAZ, man, you always hear me shouting out the bro life through galleries when I'm on live. You heard? But if you need a professional photographer in the NYC area, If you want professional pictures taken in the New York City area, make sure you follow the Bro Life Through Galleries on Instagram. You heard?